welcome to Round Robin. I'm your host, Robin McCormick with the City of Hampton. And today we're going to talk about our streets and roads. And sometimes when you're driving along, it seems like all of them need to be repaved. It's a tough choice as to which ones get that money each year. And Tyler Richardson is going to tell us how those decisions are made. You're on the hot seat.
Hey. Every day.
I know. It's hard, though, because the state only gives us a certain amount of money each year, and there's really, as in all things Hampton, more needs than there are dollars.
That is true. The state gives us, it fluctuates every year, which makes it difficult. I try to invest in the roads in the city of Hampton roughly $5 million a year. The city of Hampton is also broke up into 10 districts. We have voting districts. And I'm one of the people who think that...
well, they're not voting districts, they're neighborhood districts.
Yes. And I think that every district should get the same equal treatment. So we try to do that and be very fair in how we spend that money. So yeah, there is a lot of money. I have to be accountable to the state of Virginia for the money. They audit what I do. They come inspect what we do, along with our inspectors as we do it. We have a VDOT third-party company who comes out and also reviews what we do. So we're under the magnifying glass for the money we spend, and it's a considerable amount every year.
But again, not always enough to take care of main roadways, which deteriorate faster because I assume there's so many more cars on them, and then the neighborhoods, which don't get as many cars, but boy, do people notice when there's problems.
Yeah. Well, most people don't realize how a road is built. The major roads are built for heavier traffic. The subdivision streets, everybody needs to remember that this city came into being in 1610. Some of the roads, I think, were built in 1610, and we're still dealing with them. A lot of them are on sand and shells. There's nothing under the asphalt. That's why we see a lot of the failures we see. And those are the ones that give us the worst problems. Our major roads, as we're working on right now, as you brought up Kickingham. We're getting ready to start Briarfield in April. We've got VDOT now has come in and started offering us additional money, and they're actually doing some work in the city themselves. So it's a lot going on. And we review the roads every day. We're looking at roads.
Well, and it's complicated, and if we use Kickingham as an example because I drive on it every day, I personally think it needed it a year ago, but there was a lot of work going on, whether it was, I forget whether it was water or sewer, but, other departments were working on it, and it's pretty silly to repave it when they're going to just tear it up and do that sewer work. So you're also juggling with what HRSD and Newport News Water Works is doing.
We meet with all the utility companies every quarter and try to work it out so we don't dig up new asphalt, or they don't dig up new asphalt, I should say. And oftentimes we have to wait till they get done. Kickingham, we had a sewer, HRSD had a big sewer line that had to be taken care of. We've got some stuff out on Orchid right now, same thing going on, where we can't get in there and do anything yet. And then Virginia Natural Gas came through Phoebus and dug up a lot of Phoebus, and we had to wait on a lot of work there, and on Mercury Boulevard we had to wait. So it's a waiting game. We have the meetings. They're very productive. I do say it is saving us a lot of money, or saving them a lot of money. So that helps us. That's one of the things that customers don't understand, is that we just have to wait sometimes. We just can't go and do as we want to do.
I think that's made a big difference, though. I mean, it can make it uncomfortable for a while, but then you get that nice clean surface, as opposed to having that third party rip up that nice clean surface. And even when they repave it, it's never, quite as smooth.
It's not as smooth. We changed our city standard policies about 7 years ago. And when a utility company digs up a lane of the road a certain distance, and it gets to where you have patch, we have new standards that require them to repave that road, which saves us a lot of money. So if they come in and take up a piece of road, a large section, within 5 years after we've repaved it, they're required to repave that entire road, that entire section, because we've got a major investment in it. And it's only the right thing to do. And I know now that we have the meetings, it's so expensive, they try not to have that happen.
Well, and let's admit, same people are paying for all of it. We're paying for the waterworks, we're paying for HRSD, we're paying the state of Virginia for our roads. And so there's no point in driving up those costs. It all makes sense to work together because it's all basically the same people footing the bill.
It does. We set in a coordinated effort, a meeting. There's probably 21 folks in there. They're engineering staffs, scheduling staffs, and we get everybody from every utility company, and we hash it out and try to stay out of each other's way.
It makes sense.
And it works.
Well, so how do you decide which roads need the repave and the complete resurfacing the most?
We have several things we do. We work with a VDOT contractor, and works for them, and we have him under contract as well through the state. Every 2 years, they come in and they do an analysis of every road in the city, every mile of it.
Every single
piece of it. Every piece that is under the money that we get from VDOT. So they come and do that, and they send us an analysis of the roads. And it's a critical index number they give us, and it runs from 0 to 100. And when we started doing that, we were repairing roads. Most of them were in the critical index number was 20 or below. Now we're up into the 50s. We're catching up.
Oh, that's
so we're
really
catching
good.
up. Then the other thing we look at is
now, how do they get that? Like, they're not just driving by and looking.
They have a specialized vehicle with cameras and radar units on it, and they measure the cracks in the road. They can look at the depth of the asphalt. They can tell us what we've got before we ever get there. Very expensive van. You'll see them running around. You'll see them in the area, and even on the interstate, and it'll be listed as road test. And they will be looking at the pavement, looking at this infrastructure to see what we've got. The other thing we do is we're driven by 311 tickets, potholes. If we get a lot of potholes on the road and we start seeing an accumulation of them in areas, we kind of move that up in our list because we've had a failure. And even though it may not show up in when they were here, now it shows up. So we move that up. And then we have crews. We have what we call a pothole crew that is out every day. Every day of the year that we work, they're out doing potholes. And as they're out, they come back and they tell us, well, we got a ticket for 2 potholes on this street, but there's actually 20. So we write that down, we put that on our list, and we start moving in to get that done.
So potholes are interesting because it's what people notice. I mean, they notice cracks, but potholes are the ones that you worry about your car, your front end. They tick you off when you're driving. They're a real problem. But in-house, we have a city crew that can go out and patch those.
Yes.
But potholes can be just a little problem because of the freezing and thawing or whatever.
The freezing, the thawing, the wet weather we have like right now, the water and roads don't get along. Trees and roads don't get along.
Yeah.
But that's what happens. You get the freeze, you get the thaw, you get water into the pavement. The substructure underneath the pavement gets saturated, it gets wet. Then it'll start what we call pumping. The pavement will start flexing and moving, and that's when you start getting the potholes. So there's a lot of things that cause them, but it's usually the water, the freeze, the thaw. Roads that stay underwater a lot where we have flooding, we'll find more potholes there than anywhere else because it just saturates the base and the material, and it separates and it comes apart, and you'll start seeing what we call popcorn, the little pieces of gravel on the side of the road, and we know it's coming apart. It's just any time.
So a few potholes here or there are pretty easy to patch, but if we're starting to see a lot of potholes, that's an indicator to you that there's problems underneath or likely to be.
Yeah. A lot of people don't realize this city is one of the ones, probably the only city in this area that has the ability and the equipment to go out and do their own paving. We have our pothole crew is also a paving crew. They can operate the paver machine, the rollers, the millering. So when we get some of these small areas where 200-300 feet of road need to be replaced, it doesn't make sense for me to bring in our large contractors. We go out and we do those ourselves. And we'll take a piece of road up and put it back and redo the base and rebuild it and pave it back. And we do all that in-house.
Oh, that does make a lot of sense. So when you are looking at, stretches of Mercury Boulevard or Kickintan or Woodland, those major Armistead, King, the big roads,
Right.
you do those on contract. You bring a
Right.
big guy in. That's a big thing that you plan ahead.
Right.
But you can have little bits of a road where there's failure or a problem, and you guys come in and do those.
We do that with our city crews.
And that might be not on the repaving schedule
That's right.
because it's something that's popped up.
Usually it's not. It's stuff that pops up and we fill in with it, and sometimes people question, well, why did you come do this? It's not on the paving schedule. And why didn't you do all of it? We did With Creek Road. We caught some stuff because we didn't do all of it. We just patched it. And when we do that, that's what we call it. It's a patching project.
Okay.
And that patch can be anywhere from 20 feet long to 300 feet long. Just depends on what we have to do. But that saves the city a considerable amount of money. And, I work with the paving contractors, the equipment salespeople, and one was in my office last week, and we are the only city remaining in this area with the paving machine, the milling machine, the ability to do what we do.
That's pretty cool. How can we afford to do that, Tyler? What are you doing? That's great.
I try to stretch the dollar as far as I can. Like I said, we only get X amount of dollars. I sit down every July with my business manager, and I have 5 major contractors I work with, and we divide this city up. We do our estimates on our money. We decide where we're going to spend it, and we encumber our funds so that we've got it taken care of, and then we set our plan into motion, and we plan it through the entire year, how we're going to walk through it and get it done. So that's where we're at.
And then, you've got weather to worry about, and the year where the money isn't the same thing as a calendar year, and
That's
it
right.
just splits right in the middle of the paving season, because city year runs from July 1 to June 30th, and paving is when?
Paving runs from January to January through December.
Oh, okay.
And that's
I
the
didn't
way
think you could do the big paving
You
in
can
the
pave
winter.
in this area. You can pave through the winter. You just have to pay attention to the temperatures.
Okay.
If it's 40 degrees, you can pave. We try not to.
I was going to say, I don't think we do a lot.
No, we don't. We do it if it's an emergency, if there's a problem. Even the asphalt plants, they shut down. We can't buy asphalt. Today, we can't purchase asphalt. All we can do is cold patch potholes. When it's cold or it's wet, we can't get asphalt. Unless I want to pay the plant, they want like $2,800 to open up the gate for me to come in to get a wheelbarrow load. So it doesn't make sense.
So we don't do the big repaving except for March-ish to October?
We will start repaving the sections that we need to do, the patches that we're talking about.
Right.
In-house patches, we'll start on those in August with our crew, and we'll do probably 1 road, maybe 2 roads every month that we need to get done up till December, along with our pothole patching and other work. Then we'll come back and we'll start again April. We're getting ready to start right now, and go out and start doing some more of it and run it up till June. Now, my contractors will work starting in August, they'll start July the 1st, and they will run up till December the 1st. I usually cut it in December. Then we come back, they came back on Kickintan last week.
Yep, they sure did.
And we got another contractor starting April the 2nd, going to start on Briarfield. We'll be out there going. Then we're going to be jumping over to King Street. We've got some stuff we've got to do there. And they'll be working through, we'll be working anywhere from, usually I'll have 3 contractors plus the city paving roads all at one time now.
Yeah, it's the busy season. And your plans for what starts July 1 will be up on the website soon.
They should be up on the website, I would hope, by April the 1st. We created a list based on the needs as we talked about. Then we have to go and we have to be financially responsible. So we go through and we estimate what it'll cost to do every road. And then we work within our budget and we fit in everything. And then some roads will make it, some won't. And we have a disclaimer we put online that things can change based on needs and funding. And it does change. It happens, and people don't always read the fine print like anything else. But that happens, and we try to avoid that. We try to put in realistically what we can do.
Right.
Because it's like I tell people, it's always easier for me to say no and come back and say yes than tell you something and not be able to do it. And I'd just rather be up front with people. But we have a very good group of people We have some very excellent inspectors. All of our inspectors are VDOT certified and qualified in the city. We've got all of them through that training. Then we use consultant inspectors to watch it. I have to pay for those to keep on top of it. And like I said, we've got, well, we've actually got 4 of the largest paving contractors in the Hampton Roads area working for us.
So that big repaving the whole road schedule, that is very technical, that is planned pretty far in advance, but people have the ability to influence, obviously, the potholes daily.
Sure.
You can call 311, you can email them, you can now text them at 727-8311.
Right.
You can send a picture if you want, you can just tell them the location, and then that shorter patch process, people can influence that as well.
Yeah, we encourage the 311 calls. That gives us a way to track it. We don't forget it. A lot of the citizens like to call somebody else and tell them, hey, there's a pothole here, there's a pothole there. And I encourage whoever that is they call, please tell them to call 311 because I forget things.
Yep.
An email makes it easy for me to track it. And when I use the 311 ticket, it tracks the money for the auditing system for VDOT. I have to track if that pothole cost X amount of dollars, I have to show VDOT I spent X amount of dollars.
Okay.
And they perform these audits on us every year.
And if people put it on Facebook, I send those to 311.
Yep.
So any way that people want to communicate with the city, we will get it into your system, and you guys will go out and take a look at it and take care of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
In whatever way is most cost efficient for the taxpayers.
That's absolutely right. We only have X amount of dollars, and we have to stretch it. But you know, I think the citizens of Hampton, when you look at other roads and localities, I've been doing this for 33 years, so I see a lot of roads, and my wife gets very irritated at me because I look at things nobody else would ever look at. And we are in real good shape. They just may not realize it because they think there's something better somewhere else. It's like that greener grass. But if you really go out and you look at it and you travel the country and you travel the Hampton Roads area, you'll find out you're in pretty good shape.
I think so too. Well, thank you. Thank you for what you guys, not just you, but all of your crews do, because it's a big job. You
know, the people who work with me are, I would say, in 33 years are probably the best I've ever had so far. They're very knowledgeable, they're good, and upstanding citizens of this community. All of them live in this community but me.
Well, congratulations, and thank you.
Thank you very much, Robin. Yeah.
And thank you for watching. I hope you understand the process. Please, if you see a problem with the roads, call 311. They will put in a ticket. Tyler and his folks will come out and check it out. Probably patch a pothole at first, but could look at those longer term issues as needed. And check the website, see when the bigger roads are up for the full repaving. It is always posted on the website. And if you have questions, 311 can always get you an answer. Thanks for watching.